Good evening from wherever you are watching us. This is Breaking Today. My name is Frederick Muitiriri. My sign language interpreter tonight is Teresia Washira. And these are the highlights. Traders at Kangemi footbridge cleared a day after a wall fell, injuring 11 people. No content creator will be allowed to publish their content online without legal license, announces KFCB CEO Ezekiel Mtua. And rally drivers get ready for their big day when World Rally Championship returns to Kenya in 2 days. We have pitched camp in Naivasha. All right, welcome to the broadcast. You can talk to us via SMS line that is on 111 444 111. At Facebook, we are Switch TV Kenya, at Switch TV, at Fred Muitiriri. On Twitter now, we start off with KFCB, where no filmmaker or content creator will be allowed to publish their content online without legal license in the country. The Kenya Film and Classification Board has confirmed that failure to adhere to this calls for huge legal penalties, which include termination of on-air content. Robert Oma reports.
Content.
Niko na ndizi 4, nimetoa 2, nabaki na ngapi? Ndizi ni 4.
Indeed, the world has taken a turn, not wrong, and nobody can escape feeding on online content. In the country, shooting and publishing the same has become a walk in the park, but now things have changed.
If you're going to create material from your house, using your phone or whatever gadget, and you post it on YouTube to be consumed by the public, as a matter of law, you are required to obtain a filming license.
Since the onset of COVID-19, a vast majority of people in the country sought for survival tactics, among them making huge investments on online content creation to earn a living.
The guy who is doing furniture along Langata Road or along Gara or anywhere, that guy has a license.
The Kenya Film and Classification Board says that all online content meant for public consumption without license will be against the law. But what does filmmaking entail?
Anything audiovisual, it has sound, it has images. Anything within that gamut is the purview of Kenya Film Classification.
Do we have dirty content in the country?
In fact, a lot of times, nonsense, obscenity, matusi, uchafu, pornography. And now you want, don't be touched, you are called creatives. We are the God's children.
The board says numbers dictate who is and not at risk.
If you have 100 YouTube followers, 200, 500, and you're exhibiting content that you have created in your house using your phone to 500, that is public.
How about posting on WhatsApp?
If you post, even on WhatsApp groups, and you amass sufficient numbers that can be deemed as public, that is film. If a public service vehicle mounts a screen and starts showing in the form of entertaining passengers, that is an exhibition. So essentially, if we decided to arrest you, we can. And there is nothing you'll do. The judge will jail you, the police will arrest you, because the law says no film or class of film. Anybody on YouTube, the day we start clamping down on you, you will start saying government in a tuonea.
All filmmakers and online content creators in the country are now urged to submit their names for licensing before being penalized for the publications. Robert Oma, Switch TV, Nairobi.
Woe unto you, content creators. Now, a day after the collapse of an ongoing construction site in Kangemi, traders have been cleared from where they were operating from and through, though embracing the ongoing construction of the bridge, the traders and residents are now requesting for an alternative relocation for their sole source of income. David Kagina with more.
Today's site of Kangemi Bridge was technicians here working their way out, trying to collect all the reusable material left from yesterday's horrific incidents that saw several people buried under the soil, while others were being rescued from their trapped positions after the walls of the flyover currently under construction came down. NTSA now confirms that everyone has been accounted for.
There were 11 workers when that incident took place. And out of an abundance of caution, all 11 were just taken to the hospital. 4 4 of those workers were found not to have any problem at all. They were immediately released. Another 6 had minor injuries, abrasions, and the like. And again, they were treated and released. They slept at home. One, he had a bruise on the head, and it was decided that out of an abundance of caution, he should have a head scan. But otherwise, he was talking, he was alert, there's no other problem. So that head scan is just for purposes of precaution, and then from there he'll be released and he'll go home.
Despite the construction quickly recovering from the incidents and resuming with immediacy, traders here have suffered the blow.
Janga ilitupata jana yenye watu walifunikiwa. Sasa ndio ilitukost leo asubuhi tukakuja kubomoreshwa. Sasa hatuna pahali pengine pa kwenda.
Tegemeo yangu ni wapi? Ni pale kwa hiyo biashara yangu. Sina mahali pengine. Mimi bwana yangu aliaka akaniachia watoto wadogo na nimewalea kwa ajili ya hiyo biashara na ni hapa tu juu ya flyover hapa Kangemi.
The traders now seeking that the government provides a permanent relocation, as the trade in Kangemi is more than what the already constructed market can accommodate.
Sisi kama Wakenya, wafanyabiashara ni Wakenya na wana haki ya kufanya biashara popote pale, kwa sababu katiba yetu inasema popote pale unaweza ishi, unaweza fanya biashara na unaweza hata kukaa. Kwa hivyo wale ambao wanafanya biashara, hata ukiona wengine wanafanya barabarani, sio kwa mapenzi yao, sio hiari yao, ni kwa vile maisha ni ngumu na ni lazima huyu mtu atafute unga.
The engineers on site attribute the accident to a pocket they ran to in the course of construction.
In that part of the excavation, the material is just natural material. It is well compacted, its engineering properties are understood, and it is stable. When you cut it, you are able to work next to it without any kind of problem. But if you turn and you face this material over here, actually you can see that this material has got a lot of dumped material, plastic papers. Basically, it is a dump site. So the problem that we did have yesterday is that in the course of that excavation, this dump site material, which is loose and uncompacted, was exposed, and it then fell onto the workers.
If anything is to be learned from this Kangemi incident, is that temporary solutions are only for temporary problems, as in a bid to get rid of non-degradable material, they put the life of those working on this construction site at risk. David Kagina, Switch TV from Kangemi, Nairobi.
All right, following the announcement that Jubilee and ODM parties are set to sign a pre-2022 election alliance, the announcement has continued to elicit mixed reactions from members of the ruling party. As Joel Chacha reports, Ruto allies, that is Deputy President William Ruto, allies are alleging that the deal was meant to happen, although it remained a hidden agenda behind the BBI initiative, as those who support it hail the much-awaited merger.
Days after President Uhuru Kenyatta vowed to support a candidate fronted by the National Super Alliance to succeed him after the 2022 general elections, the hinted ODM Jubilee merger coalition, according to Deputy President William Ruto's ally, was foreseen.
The BBI had an hidden agenda. Right from the one go, the BBI was supposed to make ODM and Jubilee come together. And that is why we are very opposed to BBI, because they couldn't even have announced to come together without the BBI. We were feeling pain because of the money that was being used to promote BBI, yet we knew very well that the ultimate goal was to bring Jubilee and ODM together so that they can kick out one Mr. William Samoei Ruto.
With the Mount Kenya region remaining divided ahead of the election year, a question whether the merger will deny the region a presidential candidate, it has been rubbished as too early to debate who the flag bearer of the alliance would be.
The bigger the house, the better. And we would like to bring as many people on board as we go to the next election. What we want to ensure is that we will have a peaceful process. And I think that is what we want to build, to ensure every election cycle in this country that we can have a peaceful process.
Ruto, who recently declared to use UDA party ticket in the presidential conquest, is however required to battle it out in the nominations as required by the party.
UDA is a very democratic party. Even me, sometimes while we were in Isiolo, I said I also want. So we are going to go through a very, a good nomination, free and fair.
Political pundits add for the opinion Deputy President William Ruto should quit the Jubilee Party in good time, and it's now a matter of wait and see what the alignments and realignments in political parties would be like ahead of the general elections next year. Joel Chacha, Switch TV, Parliament Buildings, Nairobi.
Thank you, Joel. Now, Kenya National Union of Teachers officials have called on the Union Secretary General Wilson Sossion not to interfere with the upcoming elections by colluding with the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education to issue restrictive measures under the guise of adhering to COVID-19 preventive protocols. The union has accused Sossion of circulating a circular that was not agreed upon by the National Executive Council governing the elections at the Ruaraka Sports Club. The circular demanded the elections to be conducted virtually rather than in person. NAT has now reassured its members that the election will be in person on the 26th of June.
The last meeting we had on the same was on Friday 18th, just last week. Little did we know that the Secretary General of the Kenya National Union of Teachers, one Wilson Sossion, was not prepared for elections. And secretly, as the National Steering deliberated on the final preparations for the same, Wilson Sossion was busy at the offices of the Ministry of Health, trying to persuade the Ministry of Health, and not only persuasion, inciting the Ministry of Health.
I wish to say that we are set, and not just set, we are fully set for an in-person voting in the forthcoming special delegates conference. An exercise that is bound to take a half a day for those to be nominated and a full day for those that shall be coming to vote.
All right, I'm being informed that the collusion is between the NAT and the Ministry of Health. Now, moving on. President Uhuru Kenyatta, who is on a two-day official visit in Belgium, has voiced concerns by the Organization of African, Caribbean and Pacific States regarding the increasing number of unilateral decisions by the European Union (EU) targeted at the multilateral institutions member nations. Mariam Jahid with more.
President Uhuru Kenyatta, who is on a two-day official visit in Belgium and the European Union, addressed a committee of ambassadors of the Organization of African, Caribbean and Pacific States (OACPS). According to the head of state, he had unsuccessfully raised concerns about blacklisting of OACPS countries on grounds of deficiencies in anti-money laundering and financing of terrorism with highest level of the EU's hierarchy.
We are also concerned that the EU side does not always engage the OACPS ministers at a sufficiently high level to allow for conclusive decisions. The revised Cotonou Agreement maintains that the scope of groups' engagement with the EU to include conflict prevention and good governance under political dialogue.
The president rallied OACPS nations to continue advocating for multilateralism and solidarity despite the changing geopolitical realities such as climate change. President Uhuru urged OACPS nations to participate in the Global Partnership for Education, an initiative through which Kenya and the United Kingdom seeks to raise $5 billion USD needed to support an estimated 1.3 million of children whose education was interrupted by COVID-19 to resume their schooling.
Secretary General and indeed his team on all the strides made to strengthen the OACPS's cooperation and the coming into force of the revised Georgetown Agreement. I believe this milestone achievement by member states illustrates our determination to cooperate together to tackle our challenges in achieving sustainable development, in pursuit of our common and shared values, as well as our aspirations, as reiterated by the Nairobi Nguvu ya Pamoja Declaration that was adopted at our 9th summit.
The president was joined at the business forum by a Kenyan business delegation that included chairman of the East African Business Council, Nicholas Nesbitt, chairperson of the Kenyan Private Sector Alliance, Flora Mutai, and the president of the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Richard Ngatia. Mariam Jahid, Switch TV.
From that story, in Belgium by President Uhuru Kenyatta. He is in Belgium for a 2-day visit. We take a short commercial break. We'll be back with more in a short while. And we are back. Now, Empress Shoken Fund of Japan and the Kenya Red Cross Society have announced a partnership to boost youth volunteerism in humanitarian work. Under the partnership, Kenya Red Cross Society will create an online platform for youth to sign up and engage in various volunteer activities. The year-long project is designed to encourage participation of youth in volunteering online amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, which has limited physical interaction. The Kenya Red Cross Society targets 10,000 youths aged between 18 and 30 years who will provide voluntary service in essential areas as well as enhancing their personal growth. All right. The Kenya Revenue Authority, KRA, is expected to auction 314 vehicles and 223 containers that are being held at the port of Mombasa over tax issues on Wednesday and Thursday this week. KRA Coast Region Coordinator Joseph Tunoi has said the vehicles are being held at various container freight stations, and the containers, which have assorted household items, clothes and shoes, are being held at the custom warehouse within the port of Mombasa. Addressing the media in his office in Mombasa, the region boss described this week's auction as historic because it will be a two-day event.
We will have 223 containers which has been placed for auction and 314 motor vehicles. The objectives of our auction basically is to protect revenue. Secondly, to decongest our port and to ensure there is high efficiency. We don't want to see our ports with so many containers which are lying down there. The port is not an area for storage. The port is an area to clear your cargo and take it away, go and sell out there in the market and ensure our economy is moving.
Konza Technopolis Development Authority, KODA, has an early bird incentive to investors taking up land for development at the Konza Technopolis. The agency managing the development of Kenya's first smart city leases land to investors who are charged a lease fee. As a master planned city, the authority has attributed lease fees to each person, which include stand premium, a one-off payment, and an annual ground rent. Stand premium has now been discounted to early off-takers committing to paying the stand premium on or before 31st December 2021 and ready to start the construction before December 2022.
We will have investors who enjoy incentives spelled out in the Special Economic Zone Act of 2015, greatly contributing towards a favorable investment environment and reduction of operation costs.
You have been urged to do a background check on your real estate developer before investing your money in real estate. Unrealistic returns and lack of information on previous projects are key red lines to look out for when doing due diligence on a real estate development. Our business reporter Brian Mwendwa has more.
With the rise and fall of real estate developers in the country, differentiating a legitimate developer from a fake one has been a struggle for Kenyans. However, Vision Capital Chief Executive Officer Daniel Kamau highly advises Kenyans to first do their due diligence, which entails a thorough background check on the developer and review past projects before putting the money into real estate.
You see, conning is an issue of management. So there's a management team that will go in with the intention of defaulting on the obligation to the buyers. Greed over promising the market and all that, which is also not great, because there's a lot of sense in growing systematically. Yes.
Kamau has said this as the company announces a full funding of up to 800 million Kenyan shillings on the upcoming Greenwood City Mall in Meru County. Now, the key point we learned from today's lesson is way before you can put your cent into this magnificent investment, you got to do your due diligence so that you don't end up losing your money in real estate. Brian Mwenda, Switch TV.
Thank you, Brian. Now, regardless of the type of device you have, you'll need to use applications, aka apps. Applications allow you to do all kinds of things, from creating documents to viewing videos to playing games. Apollo James is about to show you some examples of how you can make use of those apps in your phone and how they are created.
If you woke up this morning thanks to the alarm on your smartphone, or if you like watching videos or playing games on your tablet, you're using applications, also known as apps. An app is a software program that lets you do your thing, for lack of a better word. You'll find apps on all your devices, including smartphones, tablets, and computers. Some apps helps you complete tasks, while others are just for fun. Here are some examples of ways you can use apps. Mobile apps are apps that run on your smartphone or tablet. They can make many things in life more convenient. For instance, if you're looking for a place to buy coffee, an app like Google Maps can determine your current location and then recommend nearby coffee shops. Apps aren't just for mobile devices though. The programs and applications on your computer can also be considered apps. If you've ever used Microsoft Word to create a document, or a web browser to visit a website or check your email, guess what? You've used an app. Some apps come already installed, but you can easily download or buy more online. Apps are about communication, productivity, entertainment, and more. With so many possibilities, you're sure to find several apps that are perfect for the things you do. Apollo James, Switch TV.
All right, it's time for sports, and right about time we are joined by Cedric, who is in Naivasha, and he will be covering World Rally Championship. Cedric,